So when we built our home, I built me a man cave slash studio slash barbershop. But as you can see, I'm busting out of this place. So this wall that you see right there, I'm going to eventually knock that wall out and take the other room, which would be my studio, and this would be my barbershop. Now, I was talking to a fellow producer friend of mine. He texted me yesterday and was telling me about a new kit that he is working on. And I'm like, well, why I got him on the phone? Let me pick his brain. So I asked a question. I asked him, what does the process, what does it look like, putting out kits these days? Because I haven't put out a sample kit in about a year. And I hate to use the word saturated, but every day you look up or you look online, there's a new sample composition company, sample library. Man, it's very great in numbers. So, I'm just like, man, I'm thinking about wanting to do a kit. What does the process look like? How do you go about doing this? We was talking about some things, working and integrating with Beatmaker 3. So he said something to me, man, that just, it struck a nerve, but it struck a nerve in a good way, to where, it was like a breath of fresh air. And I'm like, oh, wow. Yes, I think I can do it. And the thing he said is, Marv, he said, man, one thing about the consumer, they want to be able to get right to it. Most of your indie producers, they work 9 to 5, they come home, they want to sit down for about an hour and get to the music. And I'm like that too. When I sit down in front of my, when I sit down at my station here, I want to just get right to the process. So he said, don't overthink it and make it simple. And boy, when he said that, it was like, don't overthink it, make it simple. Ah, yes. That's it. That is it. We as producers, we nerds at heart, so all of the bells and whistles that you want to add to a thing, we love it. We get off on it. You know what I'm saying? It's therapy for a lot of us. But when, looking at it from a consumer standpoint, they want to be able to get right to it. Once I made up in my mind, I said, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to just do what I do. That's what Mike said. He said, man, just do what you do and put it in there. So later on that day, I'm just still, I'm just kind of just coasting through. And man, the thought came on my mind that I got this mixing board over here. This is a Yamaha EM80. It's safe to say that this was made in the early 70s. 4-channel mixer. I bought it maybe about 4 years ago. I never tried it until last night. The only thing I did do when I first bought it, and I bought it from off the Facebook Marketplace. You can find a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff on the Facebook Marketplace. I brought it home, just turned it on to see if the power would come on, and just left it in the music room next door. And I said, I didn't even know if it worked or anything. So I was thinking, I said, man, go get that mixer. I plugged it up, running everything through, plugged it up, got it going, ran the output from the iPad, from my interface on the iPad, into the board, from the board running into this Universal Audio, the Vote 2, which is a very nice, handy interface. The AD converters in there are very nice too. They're vintage. They got a vintage mode, which once you crank it up, you can start to hear that warmth. But man, when I turned it on, when I started listening to what was coming out, I sat here with my headphones for about 5 minutes, just listening to the sample, just looping. And when I tell you that mug sounded beautiful, it did. It has this hum. It has a hum, and I think maybe the hum is just, I don't even think about what it may look like inside. This mug may be full of spider webs, which I hope not, dust and everything. But the hum that is coming out of here, it's safe to say that this board have tubes in it too. It just changed my whole perspective on what the outcome of this new kit need to sound like. So my process is, I create all my samples on my iPad Pro. My iPad Pro, I'm running a Tascam 16:8 interface with a art tube for vocals if I need to bring in some instruments or whatever. And what I was doing, I was going to just take it to my laptop and run it through some tape simulation plugins that I have, and which would work and is cool, but once again, keeping the consumer in mind. If you say that this kit has a warm analog feel, for me, I want to stay as close to that as much as I can. For the pureness of the kit, I want to stay close to that. Considering that I'm already creating them on the iPad, which the iPad converters in it is a different ball game, which sounds nice and stuff. But just for conscience sake, I said, man, I want to be able to give it that real. So for volume 7, what I did, I ran it through my tape machine, but my tape machine is not, the heads need to be changed on it. That's a whole different project. So I plugged this bad boy up, and I was already halfway through the kit. Now I'm gonna start back over and run it through here into the Logic. I'm gonna run it here, through my universal audio interface into Logic. And with that being said, I think it's gonna be a nice, warm sounding kit. Yeah.